Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Peter here. Today's video is a tag video. I've been tagged by E from Simply Put Scents. So this is like a series of questions I have to answer that I'm going to really struggle with. So the first question is, name 3 reviewers you would like to collaborate with. So I'm going to say Anicia, because she's a good friend of mine. I think she's fantastic. Her videos are beautifully edited. Even though she only speaks Russian, I still think it would be cool. She actually just released a diary, a fragrance diary. It's beautifully done. Check it out, the link is in the description. It's like a full year's diary, but it's not year specific. And on each page she's hand drawn beautiful drawings of different, perfume bottles and samples. Really, really well done. She's got a lot of talent. She's a good friend of mine. If you'd like to check out the diary, the link is in the description. I think she's wonderful. So yeah, Anicia. I would also like to review with, I'd say, Brandon from the channel Art of Fragrance. He's also a good friend of mine, and I think he's cool. He's got really good taste. We don't share the same opinions on everything, but I think he's an awesome guy. So yeah, Brandon. And lastly, I would say Lania Smith, because he is very genuine, kind, humble. He tells stories that are fascinating to listen to. He's knowledgeable. Yeah, fantastic guy. I would love to do a video with Lania one day. I think he's a really awesome guy. Name 3 fragrance reviewers that are retired that you would like to see come back. I never actually really watched the old guys that are no longer doing things, apart from 1 or 2 of them. But I mean, life moves on. I look forward. There's so many reviewers that I can't even keep up with how many there are now. There's new reviewers all the time. So, I'm sorry, but when someone stops, life keeps going. That's how it is. So I'm going to say none. They stopped for a reason. That's that, in my opinion. Next question is, what are your 3 favourite designer fragrances? Nearly all my collection is niche and indie. Very few designer fragrances I like, even fewer that I own. I literally own 3, which I'll show you. These are all the designer fragrances that I own, which is handy because there's 3 of them. Kiehl's Original Musk. It's straight up old school musk. If you like musk, then it's good. From the same company, Kiehl's Vanilla and Cedarwood. This is a really gorgeous vanilla. I think this could easily be bottled in a much more expensive bottle and it would still be worth the money. I think it's lovely. Performance is okay, it's not mind-blowing, but it's inexpensive, it's light, it's totally unisex. Really gorgeous vanilla, and obviously Cedarwood. And Narciso Rodriguez, for him, the Eau de Parfum version, the EDP. I believe this is the exact same as the Musk collection that's in the metallic bottle. I don't think there's any difference whatsoever, apart from the bottle being different. I don't like the EDT version, which smells like kind of wet cement and wet concrete, very grey smelling. I don't really like that. This is more musky. It's got an element of that still, but it's more musky and has kind of a floral tinge, I would say, more along the lines of a white floral with the musk, although that's not listed. But yeah, this is my favourite designer fragrance at the moment. What are your 3 favourite niche fragrances? Tom Ford Tuscan Leather, although, to be honest, I'm using Risassi La Yokohama Pour Homme. I think I've used this once since I bought Risassi. But oh god. It's been a while since I smelled that. Yeah, it's still amazing. I love Tom Ford Tuscan Leather. Even though I wear Risassi, I'm still going to refer to Tom Ford Tuscan Leather as being my favourite. Obviously House of Matriarch, but I mean, which one do I pick? I love them all. I would say in sheer smell alone, like, Coco Blanc is just complete sex to me. I think vanilla is my Achilles heel. And this is it's not overly gourmand or sweet. The vanilla is totally organic, and we're used to smelling vanillin in a lot of fragrances, which is kind of this candy, hyper sweet kind of vanilla that's artificially sweet. This is naturally sweet. It's more woody in timbre rather than overly gourmand and sweet, but the white chocolate note in the beginning is mouth-watering, and yeah, I adore it. On a woman, I think it would be incredible, but I would guess it kind of is more feminine, but I don't care because I just attracted to it that much that I like wearing it myself. And Devotion, I'm wearing a lot recently. Yeah, I didn't really ever think that I would find an incense fragrance that I really like, because when I started out, incense was my least favourite note, but this doesn't have any smoke, and I think that's what does it for me. It's just natural resin, there's a little bit of spice and oud and ambergris and all sorts of things in there. Orca, again, probably a tie with Devotion. I really can't pick between them all, so I'm just going to put those two together and say, those are my favourite from the house at the moment, but that can change on a weekly basis. And lastly, my third choice, because I'm trying to pick different houses, is by Kilian Sacred Wood. It's beautiful, elegant, refined sandalwood. That's it, there's nothing else there. Really, really luxurious and elegant. I think it's so, beautifully done. Just fantastic. If you love sandalwood, then check this one out. It's not for everybody. On some people's skin it can go a little bit sour, but on me it works really well. The performance is incredible, 12 hours easily. Sillage is excellent. So yeah, it's simple but it's beautiful. 3 favourite houses. Matriarch is obviously my number 1. Other than that, I really don't feel any loyalty to anybody. Tom Ford, I don't like anything else he's done, to be honest, not enough to buy it. I think a lot of his stuff is overrated, just on my taste alone. Obviously, a lot of his creations are very popular. I'm not really a fan of Tobacco Vanille, I'm not really a fan of Oud Wood. All the major kind of hitters that people talk about, they don't do it for me. Tuscan Leathers are the only one. Some of them I really don't like, so I don't feel any kind of loyalty to Tom Ford whatsoever. So even though Tuscan Leather's my favourite fragrance, I don't feel like the Tom Ford house is a favourite of mine. By Kilian, obviously Sacred Wood I mentioned. I'm fairly disappointed with nearly all of By Kilian's creations. This is the only one that I would buy. The other one that I really like is Amber Oud, which is a kind of a really lovely amber and vanilla. Not quite enough to buy it, but I do like it, but I don't feel any loyalty to the brand. I think a lot of their fragrances are, again, overrated and too expensive for what they are, personally. Nasumato Pardon is one of my favourite fragrances, but again, would I say it's my favourite house? I love the aesthetics and the creativity and the look of it, and I love this fragrance, but I hate the smell of absinthe. I'm not keen on Black Afghano. Duro is good, I appreciate it, but it's a little bit too much for me. I think the spices kind of just knock me back a little bit. Blamage is kind of too harsh, and I actually know what the synthetic, or I know what the main note behind Blamage is, and it's synthetic and it's cheap, so that put me off just because I recognise it, and I know that's what it is. If you're wondering, it's a synthetic called Nolimbanol. It's made by a company called Feminiche. So yeah, I don't really feel any, I wouldn't say they're my favourite house, even though I think this one is fantastic. I own Oud Satin Mood. Since I bought Kazimi, I've not worn this once. It is more feminine. It is very well done. I think since I just found Kazimi, it's like that just resonates more with me and it's more masculine. I feel easier wearing that one. This one, in comparison, smells very feminine, but I don't feel any loyalty to Kirk John's house. I think the rest of his fragrances are ridiculously overpriced, overrated, bland, boring, safe, uninventive, uninspiring. The list goes on. Rouge 540 that got quite a bit of hype. It just smells of slightly burned candy floss or cotton candy, and if anyone has those strawberry sour laces, they're red laces sprinkled in sour sugar, it smells a lot like that. Creed, I like Aventus. I've got through just over half. I don't wear it all that often, but I enjoy it. It's the only one from Creed that I will own as of yet. I think I've sampled the whole, or nearly all of them, apart from a couple of the older ones. Yeah, the only other one that I'd like really is Silver Mountain Water and Himalaya, but not enough to buy them. That's just what it is. The only one I would buy is Aventus. I'm not interested in buying clones of it personally. I'd just rather buy the original. That's just me. So I don't feel any loyalty whatsoever to Creed. I don't know how to answer this question. How many have we named? 1. Imaginary Authors. I own Cape Heartache. I love the brand. I love the image. I love the aesthetic. I think Josh is quite creative. I appreciate most of his line. Some aren't really my taste, but, you know, I'm just picky. I wouldn't... I'm not sure I would say it's one of my favourite houses, though, because the Cape Heartache's the only one I would own. I feel like I need to like more than one to call them a favourite house. So I don't know. House of Matriarch is the only one I can definitively say. 3 favourite notes in perfume. I'm really kind of boring. Vanilla, sandalwood, and I'm going to say leather, although it's not really particularly a note. It's, you know, it's either a synthetic or an accord built up of multiple notes. But generally the smell of leather as a note, you know, is my favourite. I love leather fragrances. I love vanilla. I love sandalwood. I also really like pink pepper, and I really like saffron. Yeah. 3 underrated fragrances. I'm going to say Narciso Rodriguez EDP because I don't think any of the other reviewers talk about it, or it's never in their videos. I don't, you know, some people mention the EDT version, which I don't like personally, but not really much attention around the EDP, and I think it's one of the best designer fragrances out there personally. So yeah, I guess that's pretty underrated. Kiehl's Vanilla and Cedarwood, nobody talks about it at all. I think it's a fantastic vanilla fragrance, completely unisex, probably better on women, but you know, I think it's up there in the response that it gives me as any indie or niche, you know, so I think it's a really underrated vanilla fragrance. And I guess maybe By Killian Sacred Wood, again, not a whole lot of attention by anybody. I think I'm one of the few that, you know, mention it as my favourites. Yeah, so I guess those 3. And that's it. I guess I have to tag a couple of people now. So I'm going to tag my buddy Brandon from Art of Fragrance, and I'm also going to tag my buddy from the channel Fragrance Boss. You guys probably won't have heard of him, but he is absolutely hilarious. If you're American, you might not get his humour. There's some kind of weird miscommunication with Americans not quite grasping British humour, but he's hilarious to me. So if you want to roll around on the floor laughing, then check him out. I would be in hysterics watching his reply to this video. So yeah, that's it. Hope you all had a really good New Year and Happy Christmas. And this year's going to be good. Looking forward to it. I'm going to film a full review right now after this video. This one will be up first. Next review is the brand new fragrance from Nasamato. See you guys later. Bye.